We live, A2HH live. What's going on, Coop? I see Coop is on the road right now. What you doing, man? What you up to?
Coop is on the boat actually right now.
Coop
I just
is
got Wi-Fi out here, but my cousin just got married.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so we out here on the boat right now celebrating and stuff, man.
What you got in your cup, man? What you got in your cup?
The bartender just made me a little Knob Creek Old Fashioned. It's an open bar. You know how we do things around here.
Okay.
Purple was the color because we royalty.
Well, cheers to that, man. It's a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah, it is.
Westside Gunn dropped the album that we have been anticipating, or at least I've been anticipating for the past couple of weeks. Got pushed back a week from last week, and we have it delivered. You know what? When I woke up this morning, and I was like, man, I can't wait to play this. What was your first reaction to listening to Westside's new release? And it was supposed to be a double disc, by the way. And it seems like it's going to be, what you say, side A and side B released later?
Yeah, I think he's probably planning on releasing side B later. He really didn't give any time frame on when he's releasing side B, but we're just getting the first side today. My initial thoughts are actually all over the place. Something that I was thinking about. I had time to listen to the project multiple times, Mike, because I didn't fly in today. I drove. And so I had a chance to listen to the project multiple times. And so I have a lot of different takeaways. But my first takeaway from the album after listening to it was very Purple Tape-ish in terms of the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
The beat selection, Mike, the games we play by off Daytona.
Right.
I feel like that beat has become the street beat to pick. And so I felt like a lot of the beats felt like extensions of these are the games we play. And also too, and we talked about this behind the scenes, Mike, like Stove is a star and Stove is really carrying this project.
Right.
And that's a good thing and a bad thing.
The Terminator said, what's up? What's up, fellas? That's what Terminator said. What's up, man? Yo, cheers to you too, man. He said, salute to the homie on the right. He dead ass feeling that Eminem verse, that trash Eminem verse. Well, we don't have to make this show about him at this point. But you know what? Straight up, hold on one second. My bad, I had to let the dog out real quick. But yes, straight up, man, after my first listen, my first reaction was, like you said, Stove is on a lot. I have very, very high expectations for, this Westside release because of some of the stuff that he's just been putting out. The Julian, what was it? Julia Lane. TV Boy, and Stain. It's like, the production on that stuff is just different. Like when you listen to the production that Westside chooses, it's more than just on point. It's different, and this what separates him from the rest of the crew. He's the guy. He's more than the glue guy. He's the guy that kind of puts everything together the best. So it's like you have a different. There's a different standard when it comes to him. You know what I mean? And I feel like our first listen, I like the effort. It put me in the mind of Fly God too, as far as like how it was put together, the production that was chosen. It wasn't as seamless or anywhere near Pray for Paris, in my opinion. And I like it. It's cool. But like I said in previous episodes, I'm expecting a top 5 of the year album from Westside whenever he drops it. I don't know if we got that. Our first listen. Go ahead.
I don't think we got that.
I don't think we got that either. And it ain't even about the bars. And again, it's about placement and who's where. I didn't particularly love the fact that, back to back, we're getting Stove features. I didn't particularly love the fact that Conway and Benny were on the back end of the album. I love the record with him and Conway going back and forth, but I don't particularly love the fact that they had DJ Clue on the Griselda song, and we'll say the Griselda posse cut when it's Westside, Butcher, and Conway, but
Yeah,
I
Claire's
was
been.
expecting them all to be on one beat. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got Clue on there, because it put me in the mind of when they had Just Blaze on the his Shady release. What was the name of that song?
I know what record you're talking
You
about.
know
I
what
don't
I'm
know the
talking about.
name
It'll
of
come to
it.
me in a minute. Anybody in the chat know what we talking about? Go ahead and put it in there. But yeah, it put me in the mind of that when I saw DJ Clue feature. So I'm like, okay, they all about to get down on this one track. And for me, where Westside was on it, and you know what I'm saying, and then the beat fades out, and then Conway and Benny come on something else, it kind of doesn't have that same posse feel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, man. The thing that we put Westside, the thing that
So
we hold
so let,
Westside so high for, I don't think came through on this album, and that's sequence. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna agree with you on that.
And for me, that kind of, I mean, again, it doesn't ruin the album in a sense where I'm like, yo, it's trash, whatever, whatever. It's a pretty good album. But like I said, what I expected was the best put together album at least of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, putting together an album, that was what I was really expecting. And I don't know if we got
Well,
that on this.
well, okay. So something that I realized too is that because of Pray for Paris and the executive production job on From a King to a God, the expectations are totally different now for him.
They are.
Because I think what happened to you. How about this? If this is Supreme Blientele, we're totally happy because this is comparable to Blientele. Yeah, I got Wi-Fi. Come on, right quick, cuz.
Yo,
Blientele's.
the Terminator says that Wayne killed his verse. Yeah, and you know
He
what?
did.
To me, that was the shining
Hey,
moment on the effort. You know what I'm saying? Because that showed that I love the fact that Westside put Wayne on that type of production.
old fashioned.
I don't think we've heard I don't think we've heard Wayne on that kind of production in a minute. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. No, okay. So I'm gonna tell you what. You were on the phone with me today when my daughter started spitting game to us.
Right.
And so,
She's
like,
the
my
future.
daughter went. Yeah, no, my daughter's the future. Like, I'm worried about who's gonna take my place, Mike. When she started going in today on you and on me, I realized the person taking my place is my daughter. Like, because she apparently knows more and she caught the whole wave. So I'm gonna share something that she said about the album. She said if he made this album for your generation to like it, like, that's all he's going to get out of this album. He's not about to get my generation. He's not about to get any new fans. And she was pretty much like, and he can do better than this.
Listen, man.
That was my kid. Like you heard her start just spitting bars to us and interrupting our conversation. Like, Mike, she went in on me. Like, Mike, she gave me a whole Nas rundown today that I'm going to run down for you. I had no idea my kid been listening to me listen to Nas this whole time.
I was going to say, she's clearly been listening to you. I mean, she wasn't interrupting. She was part of the conversation. You know?
She became part of the convo, right. And so part of what went on, and she even explained this, and so I want you to understand what she said. She brought up Nas in the YKTV joint, and she was like, no, you see, she was like, Nas has figured out what he needs to do for this generation to, quote unquote, pop off.
You know what? Okay. Not to get back on Nas or anything, but I thought about this after we had that conversation, you know what I'm saying, with the three of us, right? I was like, that's what's keeping Nas fresh. His daughter is of age. You know what I'm saying? I think Destiny is like, yo, Dad.
It hit me today.
Yeah.
No, it hit me today, Mike.
Yeah, Destiny's probably like, yo, Dad, you need to work with Hit Boy.
Like, no, like, when she realized that her opinion was valid and validated, Mike, like, she pretty much took the mic for the rest of the trip. Yeah. And, like, she gave me a Nas synopsis from a young fan's perspective of why Nas is great. And here was pretty much the thing about it. Listen to what she said. She said, Nas knows what artists to pick and to put on what beats now. She said, this album you just played me doesn't flow like that. It was like, oh.
Again, I think that's when Nas hit his second stride, when Destiny got of age to the point where she could really legitimately give her dad some pointers. I mean, we don't know this, but I might believe that Destiny's probably the person that suggested Hit Boy. You know, like
It's very possible, Mike, because I played. Okay, so here's what I do, and I'm just gonna let people into my process. Once we have a standard-setting record for the year, like last year, the standard got set at Alfredo, and I felt like Alfredo only got passed from a king to a god barely, and Pray for Paris a little bit. So King's Disease 2 is the bar. So after I get done with your record, I'm going to play King's Disease 2. My daughter's right, because here's the thing that surprised me about today. King's Disease 2 from a 48-year-old rapper on his 15th album, it was more exciting, it was more refreshing, and you could ride to it more than Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Part 1, Part A. So here's what I have to say to that. Difference between a 4 and a 5 is what you're hearing. It's a 4. It's not a bad record, it's just a 4.
You know what? Do you think Hitler Wears Hermes part 8 side A, do you think that B is going to be like a total difference in style? Because clearly, like I said, this one takes on more of the Fly God 2 vein. Do you think that on side B, he's going to change like the whole color of it? Maybe that's where Armani Caesar is. Maybe that's where those records are. Maybe that one is a little bit more Pray for Paris-esque.
Hold on. No, I'm listening.
Do you feel like...
Look here. I just got done talking about you and everything you said.
What's up? Yeah. You were very insightful today. We really appreciate your input.
You can't hear Mike, but he's talking about how insightful you were today with all your words and all your stuff. I'm talking you know what right now. Right. Go ahead. Everybody up on the deck up there. You can go up there. Yep.
Coop is on the boat right now. For the people that's just checking in the room, Coop is on the boat right now.
Live doing a podcast. Yeah, I'm really on a boat with my family right now, live doing a podcast. This is the wedding reception. I'm missing dinner for y'all.
We'll be very brief. But yes.
It's all good.
So yeah. So Westside Gunn Hitman. Hitler Wears Hermes 8. Side 1. Do you think that he was going for more of like a gritty sound on that one, and side B we're gonna get more of a Pray for Paris type sound? Because I feel like Pray for Paris is like the most commercial you're gonna get when it comes to Westside, right?
Yeah, it was very Purple Tape-ish. It's like it was meant for the streets. I felt like maybe he's not, because he's so busy with so many other endeavors, I felt like he leaned on Stove a lot for this project. So depending on how you feel about Stove as an artist may depend on how you feel about this project. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, how much do you rock with Stove? Like, for us, Stove is a star, and what I really felt about it being Purple Tape-ish, it's like, you want to know what? I was like, he's kind of coming out the same way Ghost was coming out on the Purple Tape. That's what I mean is Purple Tape-ish, because it's like, you're listening to the guest appearance guy, and you're like, man, that guest appearance guy, he's really grinding his ass.
Well, he did that a lot on Fly God too, also. You know what I'm saying? Stove got a lot of look on that, but not like this one.
They doubled down on it on this project. It's like they literally doubled down on the tracks and making Stove a feature artist. I told you the joint with Stove and Boldy, bananas.
It's hard.
The Stove, the joint with Conway Spoons, crazy. The joint with Wayne, Mike, and you're right about that beat. That beat is absurd, Mike.
It is. Yeah.
That
Bash
beat's
Money.
like 93 Primo, like meets like, I don't know, meets Gangsta Grills or something. Like, it's.
For me, the highlights of the album are Bash Money and Spoons.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I forget the name of the track right now because I'm on my phone right now, so I can't pull up my track listing like I usually do. But Mike, like that track with Boldy and Stove on it together is a heavy hitter, Mike.
Oh yeah.
They're just. You want to know what? It's funny hearing. Like, you want to know what it's like? It's like riding in the car with Batman and like with Two-Face when they rap together. It's like one guy is like straight business and the other guy is handling business, but he's kind of joking while he's handling business half the time. Mm-hmm. And it just comes off well. I thought the Kiss joint was a little disappointing and not about his bars.
But I like Sauce Walker on it. I like Sauce Walker on it. Somebody in the somebody in the chat just mentioned that.
So let's discuss some of the drawbacks of the album. Why I only think that it's a 4. First of all, for whatever you think of Westside, like we know Benny and Conway are better MCs than Westside.
Right.
Like Stove and Boldy are probably better MCs than Westside. But ain't nobody entertaining like Westside. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yo, hold on one second. When I'm always talking about Cuz that taught me everything I know, that's Cuz right there.
What's going on, man? Right? What's up?
Yeah, that's 6. Yeah, that's Cuz. Like, well, I mean, we all here. So, but for whatever people feel about Westside, Westside's a star. And I'm going to tell you, like Cuz told me when I played Pray for Paris, it's like he embodies everything that came from the culture and the era New York scene-wise that we look up to and gravitate towards. And so what's missing from this album, Mike, I'm going to submit to you, is him.
Yeah.
He's not on here enough.
No, that's real. Let me go to the comments real quick. Let me go to the chat real quick. The Terminator says Destiny is better for the ear. Destiny has a better ear for music than Haley. Yeah. Andre Shashir says this album reminds me of Pray for Haiti. This album reminds me of Pray for Haiti. Rodriguez says Baby Cam and Kendrick, family ties. Pay homage to MF Doom. Shaw says, I agree. He did lean on Stove. Michael Sanders says, I'm surprised that Sauce Walker killed it. Shaw says, Vogue cover is fire.
This is my whole family behind me, by the way. These ain't randoms. This is like the tribe.
Oh, that's what's up. Vogue cover is a favorite here. What is y'all favorite song on the album? People in the chat.
So Mike, Vogue cover is a favorite of mine too. That's what I'm talking about with Stove. If you get down with Stove, you love Vogue cover. Cause like, how about this, Mike? Before we pulled up to the boat, I made sure my brother heard 3 records. Vogue cover was one of the records.
Yeah.
I turned it up as soon as he got in the whip. What up, bro? That's my brother right there.
Michael Sanders says that Westside makes the best albums out of the group. He clearly does. But, you know, what are we giving this one? On a 1 to 5, what are you thinking?
Mike, we're going to have a conversation if Conway drops an album that's another, like, 4.25 or better, because La Maquina and From a King to a God are Conway's last 2 projects, Mike.
And based on what I'm hearing from this project, and I told you this offline, I think Conway's the best MC in the game. And just listening to his appearance on this album, his 2 appearances on this album, I'm really looking forward to Conway's next effort. He seems extremely focused. He always picks really good production. He's very versatile. And yeah, to me, I think the shining light in here is the fact that Conway is still on a tear.
Mike, so I'm going to tell you what you were right about. When I heard the Benny verse again, I was like, Mike is right, Conway, because Conway has separated himself.
He has.
From even Benny. Like, I want you to understand who we're talking about. Like, Benny's a top 5 MC right now, and it's not a question. Conway has separated himself from another top 5 MC in his pants, bar-wise. It ain't like what Benny's spitting is nothing to slouch at. Most dudes walking around here shook about it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
You saw Benny debuted a song that he has with Drake on Hot 97's Summer Jam. What do you think about that? Are you looking forward to hearing Benny and Drake work together?
No, that sounded way too happy for my taste. Like everything that you said, that sounded so happy when you said it. Like, no, I'm not like, no, I didn't know that. Like, you want to know the only thing that I want to hear right now from an MC? I want to hear Pusha T because Conway's starting to separate himself.
Conway is separating
himself. That was
himself.
the only guy that I felt like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to hear Pusha T's album now. Like, hearing those two, hearing Conway go back and forth with Wes and then hearing that verse, it's like, I want to hear Push.
Andre Shashir.
This guy needs some comp right now. What is that we're... What are we under a bridge?
Yeah, Coop,
right,
reel it in. Coop's on a boat right now, guys.
Sorry. There's a whole bridge just crept up on me. Didn't nobody say nothing. All right.
Andre Shashir says Conway is dropping GDMM in September, and Andre Shashir gives this project a 4. Are you in agreement with this project getting a 4?
Hey, you want to know what? Whenever we can have one of our listeners on, Andre needs probably to be the first one, because usually what he says and how he feels does match up a lot to what we say and how we feel. We both felt like this was a solid 4. It's not a high-end 4. It's not a low-end 4. It's a 4-4.
Yeah. Andre. Michael Sanders says Benny can't mess with Conway. And that's, you know what? I'm going to have to agree with that right now.
I think Pusha the only guy right now that's messing with Conway. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Because that whole back and forth they was doing on Spoons.
Right now.
That whole back.
Kendrick verse, if that Kendrick verse,
you know what? That's a good segue.
Because that's not enough for
Listen. That's a good segue. What did you think about the Kendrick verse on the Baby Cam joint?
I think that's not enough for Conway right now. That's a whole problem. So you and I have been having the Eminem raps technical too much conversation. So what was that?
You know what? What Kendrick did on this new song, Family Ties, with his cousin, Baby Kim.
Oh, don't do that.
What Kendrick did on this song was very Eminem-esque. All the way down to changing the beat. You hear me, Coop?
No, I'm listening to you. Everybody's circulating, so eyes are open.
But no, what Kendrick did on this new song was very Eminem-esque. All the way down to changing the beat. All the way down to, and I'm going to keep it real. I don't want to be a hypocrite. All the way down to rapping offbeat. I mean, everything that he did on this record was very Eminem-esque. I wasn't super impressed. You know what? I'll say this. I know I was talking to some people earlier, and they were saying they were just happy to hear Kendrick on the record again. I feel that, but this verse didn't make me want to hear another Kendrick album. I mean, I don't want to say it like that. It didn't make me excited, like, yo, man, Kendrick's coming. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't one of those.
No, this made me feel like he was the best MC in the game last time he made an album, and he's not anymore. And if this verse is a reflection of that, he's at best like 4th or 5th.
I got a conspiracy theory, right? Let me go down this rabbit hole real quick. I feel like him announcing that he's leaving TDE with this next album. First of all, I think that next album is coming very fast, right? And the only reason why I say that is because he wouldn't be doing. Coop, you there? Yeah, when you talk, it's like a feedback. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I know it's echoing and reverbing every time I say something. That's my bad.
No, it's all good. But no,
yeah.
The fact that he announced that he's going to leave TDE, I think that is a mark that he's going to actually drop this new album really quickly, right? It's coming soon. But also, it kind of gives him a caveat if the album's not as impressive as people want it to be, where his fans could say, you know what, he just dropped this album to get out of his contract.
So I'm glad that you brought it up, because I was like, Mike, tell people what you were saying about how he's kind of like maybe building in a little caveat with how he's handling the situation in regards to that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, if the album don't do well, it's like, oh, well, he was leaving TDE, he was under pressure, he was under stress, he wasn't happy. There's like a whole bunch of things that you could say.
Because my thing is, why even make the announcement, right?
No, Mike, I'm going to bring this up, Mike, and I hate to bring this up. Do you remember when Kobe Bryant, God bless the dead, do you remember when Kobe Bryant got accused of rape, Mike?
Yeah, I remember that.
That nigga showed up every day and balled out of control still, because he understood that even for the scrutiny that he was under, there's still a standard. Yeah. And so I hope he's not using that as an excuse, and I hope that's not a built-in excuse. And if this album doesn't play well, Mike, he better not.
Well, you know what?
Say any of that.
Now that you mentioned that.
Streets better not say that for him. Word to Kobe, rest in peace while I'm wearing purple.
You know what? I mean, now that you say that, when I start reflecting on the actual message that was posted, it was full of those, this is what I'm going through, understand what I'm going through. You know what I mean? And we live in a time right now where everyone is on some, protect your mental health. You know what I mean?
No, 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 no. Hey, look here. Mental health issues are very serious.
They are,
You know what I'm
but
saying? Like if we gonna talk, no. I come from a family, like we all sit down, come from a family of people with mental health issues. Some of the people you've been seeing floating around, oh, mental health issues, Mike.
right.
So like I'm gonna speak to it live. No, fuck all that. Like person that's right here talking to you live. Oh, everybody know what time it is with me. I'm a whole case. You feel what I'm saying? And so mental health is real. Mental health ain't no excuse for me, like, not feeding my daughter at my job based on how I live. That's how he lives. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, as a man, ain't nobody else really trying to hear that. Because, like, you chose something, and you gonna eat the food, my nigga, like the rest of us. And so, I know people feel like there's, like, a built-in excuse, kind of like coming. What I'm telling you is that for who he is and who he has been, it's like, oh no, you better not.
I'm gonna say this right here.
I mean. No, Mike, do you remember when Nas started playing "You Owe Me" at Summer Jam, and then he cut it off like joking because he knew better to play "You Owe Me" at Summer Jam? So it's like you better be keeping this funky. Like I know nobody want to hear about you leaving TDE. The standard is the standard you set. That's Section 80. That's Good Kid, Mad City. That's To Pimp a Butterfly. That's Damn. Anything less than that, you're going to catch some smoke.
I'm going to be real.
You're going to catch more smoke if you bring up the whole leaving the group. That's why I told you, like, that letter, it was very, like, well written, but, like, I really didn't. I was like, oh, I've been in a space. It's like, nigga, drop this shit. And, like,
exactly. My thing is, and I say this respectfully. I don't really see the point of all that. It's like the music must not be flowing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because if the music was flowing, you're not dropping a letter like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost kind of like understand where I'm going, what I'm going through. Before I give you this, right? Before I give you this album, please understand that I've been without my phone. I've been going through this and this. I've been going through this and that. And it's like, dude, if you on a roll and you making To Pimp a Butterfly, you making Damn, you making Good Kid, Mad City, you not even thinking to write no letter. I'm just saying. All right, there's a few different red flags for me. The time gap is one. The time gap is one. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Run that.
I was gonna say there's a few red flags for me. The time gap is one. Number two is the fact that he just doesn't seem confident right now. And that verse that was recently put out, I'm sorry, that's not impressive to the point like some of the warning shots that he normally puts out before he puts out his efforts.
Right.
It just is what it is.
So this ain't high school, ain't no hall passes. And so, like...
I don't even think he can drop a Section 80, man. If he drops a Section 80, people will be disappointed. You know what I mean? At this stage, Section 80 was good to drop first, but if he were to drop a Section 80 right now in 2021...
Oh, you good. You come on in. Come sit down. No, you want to know what, Mike? You're right. Section 80 isn't good enough anymore for him because, like the guy we started off the show with, well, it's like, you done set a certain standard for yourself now as well.
Yes. I mean, that's what we're talking about with this Westside Gunn. He set a certain standard for himself, and like you said, if this was Supreme Blientele days, we would be happy with it. But right now, we've seen what you can do.
So let me submit something to you. Last year, we called him the best beat picker in the game.
Yeah.
That's only reflective of that on half of this album, and that's one of the problems, too. That's what I mean when it's not enough Westside. It's not enough Westside on the tracks, but it's not enough Westside in the process either. It's like when I listen to some of these beats, it feels like, how about this? It feels like he picked some of the stuff off the same beat tape. The track with Mach Homie feels like it was supposed to be on Pray for Haiti.
You know what? And you know what I think that is due to?
I'm right. I'm right.
I think you know what I think that's due to is the fact that it's a double disc.
Still a 4. I'm about to say it's still a 4. Like with these missteps we're talking about, it's still a 4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when you try to do a double disc, you get a certain amount of songs and stuff that would have been on the cutting room floor is not anymore. That's why double disc, man, you have to really, really be feeling it to do a double disc. Let me ask you this. And speaking of double disc, I think we can all agree that most of us feel like Life After Death is the greatest double disc ever, right? In hip hop. Okay. Do you think that there was a plan for Biggie to do a double disc? Because there are those urban legends that he was just trying to get out of his contract. That's why he did a double disc.
That's
Do
the
you,
one I believe the most, Mike. I believe that after Biggie really saw who he was, who he had became, what Ready to Die did, and what money he didn't have versus the money that Puff had, that immediately put him in the frame of mind. It's like, okay, I'm kind of rich. Puff is really rich. The number one reason he's rich as I look around is me. How do I make myself rich? I signed a 6-album deal with this guy. The sooner the better I get out of this, the quicker I make myself rich. I'm one of, and here's exactly what he's thinking. On a bad day, I'm everybody's number 3. As in, on a bad day, I'm behind Nas and Tupac. So,
well, did you see the interview?
no, Mike. The plan was to release the double and then release the triple and been done. So I think that if Biggie lives, we're talking about somebody contractually by 1999 is probably releasing a triple disc and being contractually free, and in 2000 being, financially as bossy as he was talking and wanting to be, which is what Puff really was.
Well, I'm gonna get back to that. You know what? Let me go ahead and address that now. I don't know if you saw that interview that Gene Deal did, the former bodyguard of Bad Boy of Diddy, and he was basically saying, and I want to go ahead and sum this up and get this real quick because it was a very intricate story. He didn't seem like he was, telling any fibs or fabricating anything, but he said that Puff told him to hold his suitcase one day. And he held Puff's suitcase. He said, but I'm going to go through it. And he went through it. He saw Big's contract. There was a contract that stated that Big would get $250,000 for signing. He would get $250,000 for going gold, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he started clowning Big because, he said, Big, man, you broke, yada, yada. And then Big was like, I might be broke now, but I got this contract with another record company for $62 million. And my lineup is going to be Cameron, Charlie Baltimore, The Commission. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, what about Lil' Kim? He was like, man, Lil' Kim's my bitch, man. Lil' Kim, she'll work. She ain't scared of working, so she good. And so, yeah, he had the whole plan laid out that he was going to leave Bad Boy, according to Gene Deal. And, I mean, it makes sense because he was saying that, Big was kind of living out something that he didn't have the pockets for at that time. So I do agree with that. And he probably was going to leave even before that. And you look at how, you've seen the interviews from Cameron. Cameron thought when Big died that the deal was over. So clearly there was a plan in place.
Right.
So anyway.
No. So.
But with that being said,
don't remember this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna get back to my point about Biggie doing a double disc, and the fact that Biggie made a double disc off of the fact that I'm going into this knowing I'm gonna make a double disc. It wasn't like he caught a rhythm. It was like, yo, man, this shit's coming out so hot, we gotta make a double disc. You know what I mean?
No, Mike. That's what I mean about how brilliant and how great he was. The point was to make a double disc and to make a double disc so great that people would have a reason to buy the triple so he could get out of Dodge. Right. He was trying to get more buy-in. That's why he upped the ante. That's why for every time you hear 10 Crack Commandments or What's Beef, you hear Hypnotize or More Money, More Problems. He's like, no, I'm taking everybody with me.
Yeah.
I'm taking everybody.
And that's funny you said that because according to Gene Deal, Biggie was like, I would take you with me too, but you love that nigga Puff too much.
See what I'm saying? Puff was taking everybody with him on Life After Death. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, I guarantee
the Locks would have went with him.
I was about to say, the third CD wasn't even going to be big like on all 3 CDs, dude. There was probably going to be a CD. It was like going to be a Biggie CD. There was probably going to be a Junior Mafia CD. And then there was probably going to be a Big's New Talent CD which probably Locks would have probably left Ship for Big, Cam, Charlie Baltimore. Like, that third project wasn't even going to probably be a big project. It was going to be like, I'm about to get out of here. And in the process of getting out of here, since I got everybody on lock with Ready to Die and Life After Death, is to showcase all the talent, including mine, and then fade and become the boss that Puff is. And tell me he wouldn't do it. Like Mike.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the Locks. If Big is alive, the Locks stay with Bad Boy.
No, the Locks stay with Big.
Or wherever Big goes.
Yeah, because Big was leaving.
Right.
I'm sorry. I truly believe that Big was leaving. If you look at the track record of Bad Boy,
Pac was leaving too. Pac was leaving too.
Well, I can believe
Pac
that
was
too.
leaving too.
I can believe that too.
Like,
when you look at Bad Boy records,
I'm
though.
glad Nas did the whole Death Row East. If people do their research and go look up the Death Row East, like Pac was up in New York telling a lot of the New York dudes that he was going to be leaving Suge soon.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, man. But if you look at Bad Boy, at the end of the day, there's nobody really with more than 3 albums but Puff. So to think that Big would have spent the whole career on there, because this is the thing that happens. And I was reading Berry Gordy's book, right? And this used to happen back in the day. Diana Ross and all these people that were on Motown, it got to a point where Barry just couldn't pay them what the bigger companies were going to pay them to stay. And that $62 million contract that Biggie was being offered,
It was too bossy, too flossy.
that $62 million contract that Biggie was allegedly offered, Puff wasn't going to match that. And another major would have been able to just come in and do whatever they had to do. Because when you look at 112, right? Def Jam.
I want to know.
Def Jam signed 112.
Checkup. I want to know, like, who had money like that to give Big in '97. Was that sound like Universal Interscope to me?
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure whatever Dr. Dre was getting, because people try to make it seem like Dr. Dre left Death Row with nothing. No, Dr. Dre left Death Row with Jimmy Iovine and stayed on Interscope. Interscope was distributing Death Row.
Mike, he left with what mattered most.
Exactly.
Distribution.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't leave with nothing. He probably was like, yo, you can hold that.
He doesn't have this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, so he has this white guy who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars that runs a record label.
And who has access to it, you know what I mean? But the thing is, though, when you look at Bad Boy, 112, remember when Def Jam signed them to Def Jam Soul? That was after their second album. So Bad Boy wasn't able to match that. I truly do believe that Big had another deal on the table. Whether that number is what it is, who knows? But I'm pretty sure it's a number that Bad Boy wouldn't have been able to connect them with. You know what I mean? I don't know how we got down this rabbit hole, but yeah.
I don't even know how we got here. Hold on. The Lovely Bride.
Congratulations.
Bride
Congratulations.
Live. Yeah, you're live on YouTube now, Desiree. Lovely Bride. This is Young Cuz turned Big Cuz. The bride.
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Congratulations to everybody, man. Y'all are having
fun. It's the one that got everybody down here and on this boat. Okay, back to the podcast.
Y'all are turning up on this boat. Yeah, I wanted to say something real quick too, man. You know, ATLiens just celebrated its 25th anniversary today.
I saw Big Boy posted, yeah.
What was your favorite song on ATLiens? Outkast ATLiens, their sophomore album, by the way, for the people that are tuning in.
Babylon.
Babylon's your favorite.
Babylon. Matter of fact, Mike, like that stretch, like Wheels of Steel, Elevators, Over the Woods, Babylon. I know Jazzy Bell's in there, but like any of those 4 songs, pick one of those.
Andre
Shashir
says Coop looking buzzed good.
Oh yeah.
Looking like he buzzing good. Cheers. Well,
no.
Cheers
Fam, I don't think you understand. I don't drink old fashions anymore. That ain't even my steez anymore. Like, yeah, I feel great. I'm obviously not driving this boat.
Well, good.
No, Mike, you want to know what? Like, Babylon's probably my favorite record, Mike. But I'm always on the move, Mike. And you know what knocks in the ride, Mike? Over the Woods, Mike.
Over the Woods is my personal favorite, and it's
Over the Woods is crazy.
But see,
it's Over the Woods in Babylon.
That's the Outkast I love, though. That's the Over the Woods
Outkast I
is
love
the
too.
Outkast I love. It's like the Ben Tabima Outkast where they're kind of like going back and forth with each
Right.
other, and
Right. You want to
that's
know
when
what
they
it
sound
is?
like a group.
You want to know what it is? It sounds like they're in two different worlds, but still in the same projects. And that's what Over the Woods is. That's what Babylon is. That's what Wheels of Steel is. That's what Benzora Beamer is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where they're really special. That's the peanut butter and jelly to it. It's the fact that it's like he's over here, or even like you want to know what I always
I like Two
really,
Dope Boys too, man. That
Two Dope
really,
Boys
yeah.
is there too. That's the one that Big Boy posted actually. Big Boy posted Two Dope Boys. You know what I always found to be like really, really fascinating was like if you like listen to them, even on the first album, you can hear, you know what I'm saying? Like even when they're on their player shit, like you can hear the separation a little bit in thought. But I don't think anything really showed how different they were than on Goody Mob's album Soul Food. When you listen to Big Boy on Dirty South, you're like, no, that's where he's supposed to be. And when you listen to Andre on Thought Process, you're like, that's where he's supposed to be. So the most beautiful thing about them is that like they spent a career, even albeit briefly, putting Thought Process and Dirty South together.
Making it work.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Making that work.
Yeah,
that's hard.
they've been making their differences work, and yeah, I mean, it's clearly been hard throughout their career because, you know, we've never seen anything like that in hip hop from two extremely different individuals being able to come together and make something work. So there was always those "are y'all breaking up" rumors whenever the style changes a little bit. But that's why I think we love records like Over the Woods so much because it sounds like they're on the same page. And I don't know if that's when Dre adjusts more to Big Boy. Because it's like, and we talked about this about Synthesizer, right? They sound more one when Dre is adjusting to Big Boy than when Big Boy is adjusting to Dre. You know what I'm saying? And ATLiens, it feels like, to me, as MCs, because I think they stepped it up from the first album. And you know, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I think Southern Playalistic is better than ATLiens. But I think they're much better MCs on ATLiens, and I think that they are on the same page more on ATLiens than they are on any of their other albums.
How about this? ATLiens is the album where they play off of each other the best.
It is. It's their boom bap
like
album.
On Southern Playalistic, the struggle is very similar. On ATLiens, they play off each other very well. On Aquemini, they've mastered playing off of each other. On Stankonia, they just on some other shit, but they already know how to make it work by now.
On Aquemini, they were able to maximize off of their differences, but it was clear that they were different. On ATLiens, it was just one of those things like, which one do you like better? Because they both were, you know, approaching records with the same, you know, velocity and veracity. I personally think, though, even though it might not be my favorite song on the album, I think Elevators is the best song on the album.
So, Mike, like I said, if you wanted to pick from Wheels of Steel, Elevators, Over the Woods, or Babylon, I wouldn't argue with you. Anything other than those four songs to me, I think is more of like a personal choice. So when you say Elevators, I'm not going to deny that, Mike. And Elevators is the single that changed everything for them as a group.
It did.
You know what I'm saying?
That verse, that last verse, the Dre spit changed everything.
And how about this? And you're right. That last verse by Dre, that's the verse where we stopped getting disrespected in the South as MCs and lyricists. That verse in particular.
With it being a single. You know what? I will say this. And you mentioned Soul Food because I was just watching the Unsung that Goody Mob did. And, man, it was a really good Unsung, too. They did a really good job.
I didn't know they did.
Soul Food was very much highlighted, as it should be. But Soul Food as a whole, I think, changed everything for the Dungeon family. But I think it changed a lot for Outkast, and it changed the direction for Dre in particular. But like you said, Thought Process, to me, I remember being in the city. Thought Process was that verse where it was like, oh, this guy is something else. I mean, we knew he was dope from Southern Playalistic. But when we heard Dre's last verse on Thought Process, he had turned into an elite MC.
No, we're about to wrap up. No, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like that verse on elevators was so undeniable. Like Benzo or Beamer and Thought Process and Dirty South in '95 were all kind of like build-ups to what you heard on.
Right.
So I'm going to agree with you on that. Those are game-changing moments, especially for Southern artists. And that's why I'm saying it's like that, Mike, more than anything else, these things that we're waxing about at the end of this, and I got to wrap up because I got to go because everybody literally keeps coming to grab me.
No,
I
it's
gotta
cool.
run. But, like, this is why I stress the importance of playing Big Boy's records. Like, listen to the stuff we're talking about. Like, we're talking about stuff that they did literally 25, 26, 27 years ago. It's groundbreaking. It's important. And, like, pay homage.
Definitely. All right, so Westside Side A is getting a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. I feel more like you. Like, I don't know who did the production on this because I've been on the road all day and now I'm on a boat. So
Andre Shashir had something to say about that before you go. He said, where was Alchemist and Derringer? They weren't on it.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was about to ask. That's what I'm talking about, how Dre needs to be the first person that we have on. I feel like this album had no Alchemist or Derringer or Beat Butcher, really, and so Side B needs to have that because that's what it's missing beat-wise. It's missing Westside's touch as an executive producer, and it's missing some more of his stories. So
there was a lot of Conductor.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and I like Conductor. I don't want to take nothing away from him, but it's like, how about this? Let's leave it with this. I'm going to tell you what my daughter said about Nas today that I didn't even realize she realized. She said, he knows what he does well, and he's found new things to do well on top of it.
That's very insightful. Well, let's leave on that note.
And she was like, I know what, and she was talking about him. She was like, she don't call him Westside Gunn. She was like, I know what he does well. She was like, he just didn't do it as good this time around. And I was like, well, she's right.
Well, let's hope next week we get a better version of that on Side B. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I think he should have put them out together if this side wasn't strong enough to stand on its own. But we will see.
Hey, Mike, if I'm busy next week, just call my daughter. Apparently, she can do this shit. Right.
We got a reliable stand-in, definitely. Y'all need to do a podcast together, man. Should it be dope?
You wanna know it? I mean, that was special what she did. Let me get down here for dinner, man.
All right, man. Hold it down, man.
And thank you to everybody for bearing with us when me and Mike are on the road and stuff. We really love this. And shout out to families and everybody who's in our lives that's patient with us about our love for this too. We love all of y'all. Thank you very much. Westside Gunn, Hitler Wears Hermes 8 is a 4.
Yes, sir. All right, you be safe out there, man. Y'all enjoy yourself and enjoy the boat, man.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you up a little bit later. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.